make it big. Pull up my comments. Yo, my YouTube don't ever want to show me though. Here I go. Ready? Yep. To me. All right, good evening. Thank you for joining Destination Freedom with Shazia Pay. My name is Shasta Heflin. I'm your host. Tonight's episode is going to be amazing. Thank you for joining. Hey, Miss Jerry. I got my beautiful niece on with me tonight. We're going to bring her on and let you see her. Hey, hey, hey. I got my niece on. This is going to be great tonight. We're just going to give people time to get on. Yeah. There she go. If you're live on YouTube, say hey to us. I can see your chat. Say hey on Facebook if you're live. I'll officially introduce my niece when we come back, but we just want to give people time to get on and say hey to us. We got some people on YouTube.
We need everybody on.
We need everybody on this.
Need this.
This is a good one. A lot of people need it.
And a lot of people don't talk about it.
Right.
It's not talked about enough.
Mm-hmm.
So we're being vulnerable today, guys, and sharing our stories.
For sure. Be patient with us. Yeah, this is real. Sierra's on. She says hi. Hi, Sierra.
Hey, Cece.
April, Tish, everybody. I'm not going. Because if I miss you, you're going to be mad at me. All of God's people, hello. I'm so churchy. All right, we're on. We're giving people time to get on. Thank y'all for coming on. I know people out voting and all of that good stuff. Let us know how we sound early. I think we should be good this time. We're not going to have the same issues. But just make sure we're good. April said, hey, Britt. Hey, Brett.
Hey, April. Hey, girl. It's the Brit Brat for me. I haven't heard that in years.
Brit Brat.
Brit Brat.
Yo, Jean said Shazzy and Big Toe.
Oh.
See how you people do you?
Hey, Jean, Mama that's G. Not even right. That's not even right. Everybody don't need to know that, okay?
Classified information. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started on tonight's episode, Exit Wounds, Depression, and Suicide. You Won't Win. My special guest is my niece, Brittany, but we're going to come back and give her an official introduction right after this. We're about to take flight, Destination Freedom with Shazia Pay. We'll be right back. Thank you for tuning in to Destination Freedom with Shazia Pay. Tonight's podcast is Exit Wounds, Depression, and Suicide. You Won't Win. I have a very special guest with me tonight. I have my niece, Brittany, but she goes by London. So I have London, my baby, On with me tonight. London, say hey to everybody.
Hey, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Thank you guys so much for joining. I know it's kind of late. You might be doing your little duties and getting ready for bed or getting the kids ready. So, thank you for joining in. You won't regret it. We have a lot of good things we're going to talk about and, just sharing. And hopefully, we can help somebody who's, in the state of depression or who's been through it and still struggling with it. Even if we help one person, that's good enough for us. So
That's good enough for
thank
us.
you for joining.
And that's my baby. She's a talker like her aunt. So let's go. Brittany, introduce yourself. Tell people about you. You already know what we talked about. Just tell people a little bit about yourself.
Yes. So, hi guys. My real name is Brittany, but I go by London, and that's a story within itself. But my name is London Heflin. I'm a entrepreneur. I am a fashion designer. I am so many. I wear so many hats, but just as a whole, I'm just a very eclectic, vibrant social butterfly. I love people. I'm very passionate about woman empowerment. I think we all need to support each other, and if we do come together as a force, we can be so powerful. I'm focused on taking away the beauty standards of today's society and just showing that beauty has no size. You can be plus size, you can be average, you can be small. You're still beautiful in your own way, and God made us the way we are for a reason, and I'm very, very, very passionate about that. And just showing that self love is the best love. But yeah, I'm a mom. I have two kids. I'm a new mom again. I have a 4 month old, and a 3 year old. Ocean and River. Ocean is a boy. River is a girl. And yeah, that's pretty much about me. Sums me up. I won't tell too much.
All right. I'm so proud of you. You know, I'm so proud of you. I can't say it enough. You're doing an amazing
Thank
job.
you.
Beautiful young woman. So, thanks to Anita Baker, I called you Saturday, and I already had the topic planned out. The next topic I wanted to talk about, but I was, unsure which way I wanted to go until we spoke Saturday. And I was thinking about Anita Baker, "Caught Up in the Rapture," like one of your favorite songs. It came on my playlist, and I was like, okay, all right, let me call. So I called as a joke, but we had a really, really, really deep and in depth conversation. And I was like, Brittany, you got to come on. You got to come on my podcast and let's talk and let's help the people. And you were like, yes, from the jump, no question about it. So we're gonna talk about it. In that conversation, you told me how you dealt with suicidal thoughts, and something that I never knew. Like all these years, I never knew. So talk about it. Tell us about your age or however you want to tell your story. Tell us how you dealt with that. When you were going through that season of your life.
Yes. So glad that season's over. Amen to that.
Amen.
So yes, I would say it started around the age of 16. Like 16 was not sweet 16 for me. Um, I just didn't feel worthy of living.
Wow.
I didn't feel important. I didn't feel needed. I didn't feel wanted. I didn't like who I saw in the mirror. I struggled with, very, very, very bad insecurity issues. Um, I just wasn't happy. I was always tired and wanted to be to myself. I would isolate myself. I had one good friend. Her name was Karita, and she was going through the same thing. So it was like we were kind of like filling each other's voids. Um, but yeah, it was tough. I would sometimes like cry myself to sleep. I would put on the facade so nobody, would know what's going on. Like, if I'm home with my family, I don't want them to know what's going on. But at school, I love to learn. Like, knowledge is power. But I noticed when I was in this space, I hated going to school. I just hated everything. Like, I just didn't want to do anything. I was just like in a stuck place where I was just unhappy everywhere. At school, I had an attitude with like my teachers, and they even were like, is everything okay? This is not, really you. You're usually fun, vibrant, loud. You're not yourself. I was just like, I'm fine. Like I was always, I'm fine, I'm good, because I didn't feel like anybody would understand what I was going through. And I just came to a place where I was just like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I just don't feel like life is worth living. Like, when I wake up in the morning, I'm not grateful. I'm not thankful. I'm just like, oh, okay, I have to go through another day, you know? So it was a really hard place to be in. Um, I ended up actually having to see a psychiatrist because one day in school, I was over it. Like, my teacher pissed me off or something like that, and I just walked out. So my best friend, she knew I was having a really bad day. So she was concerned because I didn't say anything to her either. I just walked out. I think I like went in like an abandoned classroom or something like that in a school. I just didn't want to be bothered. I just was over it. And she got concerned because, you know, she knew I was suicidal and things like that. And being that I didn't tell her where I was going, she was concerned. So she went to the guidance counselor and told the guidance counselor everything, like put it all on the table, the thoughts I was having, that I'm depressed, and just laid it all out. And I ended up seeing one of these teachers that I was really close with, and I just was like venting to her and like crying with her, or whatever. And I came out the classroom. I'll never forget it. I came out the classroom because I was gonna go to lunch, and security like ran down on me, and I'm like, what's going on? Because, like I
Wow.
said, in my head, I was just over it. So I just walked out the classroom to avoid, like, you know, arguing with the teacher or anything like that. But I guess to my best friend, she was really like, oh, she really might, like, this might be the day, you know?
Wow.
So they ran down on me and they were like, come with us, come with us. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm so confused. So they bring me to my guidance counselor, and she's like, yeah, we contacted your mom. She's about to come get you. Karita told us everything. And I just looked at her like, girl, like, girl.
Wow. Right. Right.
But God works in mysterious ways, because maybe that was going to be the day where I was just like, you know what?
Right.
This is it. I'm done. You know? You
Right.
never know. Um, so my mom was notified. You know, of course, she told my dad. My parents were aware, and they said I couldn't come back to school until I went to see a psychiatrist. So it was like, okay, I guess I gotta go. I still wasn't in a space where I wanted to talk to anybody, because I'm like, nobody understands, nobody will get it. So what's the point? Went to the psychiatrist. I just said a little bit of what was going on. I didn't really open up much because I was not in the space to do so.
Right.
um, just so I could go back to school. I'm like, let me just tell her something so I can go back to school.
Right.
That isn't anything. But now my family is aware. Now my parents are aware, you know? So it's like, okay, life life is a little different now. I'm not
Right.
hiding it anymore. I can't wear this facade anymore because now they know what's really going on. So it was tough, you know. I could tell that my mom was like sometimes walking on eggshells with me, you know, because she didn't want to upset me, or, you know, just push
Right.
me over the edge. She had to take like all my scissors out my room, and it was just like crazy. And I'm just like, wow, like, I don't want my family to feel like this, and I don't want to feel like this no more, you know? So I just took it upon myself to just try to take it one day at a time. I didn't really know how to pray then, but I just talked to God like the way I felt was best. And I'm like, I don't want to feel like this no more. I do want to try. So can you help me? Like,
Right.
some way, some form, can you help me? You know?
Right.
Um, like I said, I'm a fashion designer. So sewing and drawing and just anything artistic is like my escape. So I used to start writing poems, and that was really like my first escape, poetry, because I used to just write all my thoughts down. Like, anytime I was having a bad day, I would journal it, or any emotions I was having, I was journaling it. And my boyfriend, who at the time, well, we're still together, my child's my children's father too, Demetrius. He was like the only person that I could really, really like vent to and like tell, like, I'm having these thoughts. And he didn't judge me. He didn't judge me. You know, that's a lot. You know, we're 16, 17. He didn't have to stay with me. He could be like, oh no, this girl is too much. You know, I'm gonna leave her
Right.
alone. You know? He
Right.
didn't. He didn't. And that's really like what drew me closer to him, because he understood me. He accepted me for who I was, and even though I was in this dark time in my life, he still tried to bring some type of light. So,
Right.
love you, babe. But yeah, I started like journaling my thoughts and just talking to God and what I thought was the best way He would hear me. And I just took it one day at a time. And I started doing mirror work, which is, looking at yourself in the mirror and telling yourself and really convincing yourself, I am beautiful, I am worth it. Like at first when I started, I didn't believe it, but I'm like, let me try this every day.
Right.
And maybe one day I will believe it.
Right.
And eventually I started to.
Right.
But it takes a lot of work. It takes consistency. Even when you don't feel like getting up out of bed one day, you got to push yourself. Like, no, somebody needs me. I convinced myself nobody needs me, and the world just would be much better without me. But I had to convince myself somebody needs me.
Right.
I had my little sisters, and that helped a lot as well, because I'm like, I gotta live for them.
Right.
I don't want them to go through this. I don't want them to experience this. I don't want them to see me like this, because I am their role model. So you guys helped a lot if you're watching. I know Cece's on. I don't know if Destiny's on, but
Destiny's on. Yeah, she's on.
you guys helped a lot. So I love you guys. And then also too, one day I posted on Facebook like, I'm just done. I don't want to be here no more. And I didn't know this girl. I didn't know her at the time. She wrote me and was like, whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it, because I'm in a bad space in my life, and you really inspire me. I know you don't know me, but like your posts inspire me, and I think you're just such a cool person, but whatever you're doing, please don't do it, because if you kill yourself, I might kill myself.
Wow.
And that was deep.
That was a
I
game changer.
didn't know this person. So for her to even be vulnerable and share that with me, number one was like, wow. And then number two, like, she's like, please, like, whatever you're thinking about doing, please don't do it, because like I will do it too.
Right.
And I was like, wow. I never shared that with anybody. I just shared that Friday with my church family. I never shared that with anybody. So I'm
Wow.
sharing it with you guys. But that really woke me up. Like, God works in mysterious ways. He sent a complete stranger to me to tell me, like, listen, you are enough. You never know who you're inspiring. Even when you are not your best, you're at your lowest, you're still inspiring people.
Right.
And that's what really ignited it in me to really wake up and smell the flowers. Like,
Right.
tomorrow is not promised. And I actually was in a car accident. Like, I got hit by a car. My life could have been taken. So that moment too woke me up. Was like, oh, okay, the
So let's
power of the sun
pause.
is real strong.
Let's pause right there. You
Mm-hmm.
got hit by a car, not in a car.
Yeah,
You
I was a
actually got hit.
pedestrian.
You were a
Yep,
pedestrian and you got hit by a car.
yep.
And wow, and then
I flew
God
up in the
saved you.
air.
Yeah, I remember. And God saved your life
Yep.
in the midst of you feeling the way that you felt.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So,
And I was like, wow. Like, okay, I ain't gonna say that no more,
right.
because my light, I saw the light. Like,
Right.
my life literally flashed before my eyes. Like, I remember me and my best friend Karita. We were crossing the street. He hit her first,
Mm-hmm.
then he swerved and hit me. So I just remember like flying in the air and then just laying there,
Yep.
and I felt lifeless in that moment. Like, I literally felt lifeless, and I was like, wow, like, okay, please save my life. Like, don't let nothing be wrong with me. Don't let no bones be broken. Like, please, I don't want to die. Like,
Right.
I remember saying that in my head. And I
And,
was like, okay, yep,
and that shifted your whole life.
yeah,
It
that
shifted.
shifted everything.
So it's amazing how God works because you were talking, and Saturday when we talked, I was like, "Don't tell me. I'm gonna hear it when everybody else hears." So everything you just said, I'm just now hearing it. This is my first time too. But one thing we did discuss was I was there. I was living in the house with you and didn't know that you were depressed and that you had suicidal thoughts and you were acting out. But, I was too busy being an auntie. You know, you was like, Auntie, you be blacking. Like, I was blacking, just going off because you were acting out. And I couldn't understand, but I never asked you why. I never
Yeah.
asked you why you were acting out. It was so I'm gonna take your phone or I'm gonna, take this away from you, like disciplining you, but never asking you, you know, why are you acting out like this or why are you doing what you're doing? And I think it's so important that when we're connected to people that we pay attention to them, not just to respond or react, but to be concerned about them. Be concerned enough to say, well, even if it's a child, because you never know what that child is going through. Like I said, you were 16 and
Hmm.
you and I were like, you were my girl. We laughed, we joked, we talked, but I never knew in the house with you, I never knew that you were, going through those thoughts that you were going through. And I'm like
Yeah, and like
blown
I
away.
told you Saturday,
Yeah,
I felt that like, okay, I am acting out, but nobody's asking why. Like
right,
my parents aren't asking why. You're not asking why. Everybody's just blacking on me. Like,
right,
so
right,
I was just like, dang, like, do they even care? Like, y'all see I'm moving different. Does anybody care to ask why? Or
right.
so yeah.
So that was crazy. When you answer one of my questions, what did you do to start overcoming it? So you started speaking affirmation to yourself and you
Hmm.
got the therapy that you needed. You started seeing the psychiatrist. I'm glad that Karita was there, that you had somebody that you could have an outlet. And even though it was scary when that car hit you, I do remember that like it was yesterday. I remember, and I'm like, wow, my niece could have been gone. She's just a baby. She's just a teenager. I remember that. And I'm like, looking back and listening to you, I'm like, God, thank you. Because if it had not been for God, we may not have been having this conversation right here to try to help
Yeah.
somebody else that's going through the same exact thoughts that you were having, thinking the same way, whether it's a teenager or an adult, that's thinking the same
Mhm.
way. So you took the steps of affirmation, you got this, you went to see the psychiatrist, you talked to your friend, and got into the accident, and then your life started changing. You started, thinking different and acting different and speaking different in your life, right? And you
Definitely.
said something else too, and it lets me know, it warms my heart because I always pray, God, send somebody in my family's life that can show the love of God to them. And you saying that, you had somebody there that you didn't know, come speak to you
Mhm.
in whatever aspect that lets me know that God is listening. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
God, thank you. Because I'm always praying, God, send people in my family's lives that can show you or that can help them along the way. I know I'm not God, but I pray. And I know that there are people all over the world. You're 600 miles away from me. I can't
Yeah.
be there. We're a phone call or a FaceTime away, but somebody has to be there to help along the way. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I looked up some statistics. Suicide is the 12th leading cause of death in the United States. In 2020, 45,979 Americans died from suicide. And also in 2020, there were an estimated 1.2 million suicide attempts.
Wow.
Why are we talking about this?
Right. Right.
Because this is a major issue that people, like you said, it's taboo. People don't want to talk about it. People are ashamed. People
Hmm.
are, you feel like you're going to be judged. It's like you
Yeah.
can't tell people what you're going through because I feel like you're going to judge me. And now
Yeah.
that's not going to help the situation. What would you say, and this is off the record, like off the cuff, what would you say to like the young Brittany, the 16-year-old Brittany, if you could look back and kind of say anything to yourself, what would you say to you right now? That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
What would you
I would
say to
say you are unique. You were created different for a reason. You are beautiful. You are so worth it. Big things are coming. You are going to change lives. You are going to inspire so many people. So just keep going. Stay strong. Don't get distracted. You are worth it. You are worth it.
You are worth it. I wanted you to say that because even though you told your story, I wanted to give like some affirmations to people that, that will help them right now. Somebody's on here watching. They may not even verbally say it, but they'll be able to say, I'm enough. Keep going and stay focused and, don't be distracted. Stay
Mhm.
strong because nobody might not tell them. We talked about affirmations in our
Yeah,
conversation. We talked
yeah,
about, we watched Bishop Jakes affirm
yeah.
Sarah. And when I saw that,
I was
you,
bawling.
listen, I'm sitting there like crying, like, this is for me because I didn't have
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't have that affirmation from
Mhm.
from a father like that. Now, it's just is what it is. I didn't have that affirmation, so I'm like sitting there like, thank you God, for sending this my way because I needed it, and I'm like, I'm in the room right
Yeah.
now.
Me too. Me too. Yeah.
This is for me when you don't have anybody. Not that you have to have self confidence, but it does feel good to
To
have
hear
somebody
it.
affirm you,
Yeah.
to hear it
Yeah.
that you're beautiful, like you just said, that you're beautiful and that you're worth it. And I know you're gonna make mistakes along the way, but God still has you. You're
Yeah.
still great. You're still going to do great things. Stay focused. Don't let the bad things distract you or throw you off course. And in that moment, it was like, thank you, God. We talked about it. Thank you, God, for just sending that affirmation. You're beautiful, or I love you, or you're loved, or you're doing a great job, like from the heart.
Yes.
Sometimes that
Yeah.
helps change. Go ahead.
And something that I just thought about too, and I'm gonna be very honest. There was no Instagram and all of that back then.
Right.
I like social media now. It's like you see all these celebrities and you want to compare yourself to them, like, oh, they got all of that and I have nothing. Or literally people that's, your peers, oh, how they get all this money and I don't got this, we from the same town. And it's all about comparison. It's all about comparison. So to be honest, like if Instagram was like out when I was feeling that dark, I really don't know if I would be here right now.
Wow.
I really don't.
Wow.
I really don't. Because it's like it's so scary for people who are in that space. It's very dark. Like really nobody can like stir you out of that but yourself. Like you said, it's good to hear affirmations, but if you don't really believe it, it's going in one ear and out the other.
Right.
So if you're constantly all day seeing things on social media, seeing negative things or seeing things that you don't have or you can't quite obtain, and you're just like, my life sucks, you know? So, I pray for anybody who's in that space right now
Right.
because it's tough.
Right.
It is tough. Like on social media, it could be one scroll could be negative, somebody dying, somebody killing themselves. The next scroll could be somebody showing off their new car. Like it's just like it can be overwhelming. Like sometimes myself, I have to do like a social media detox and just
Right.
like not go on social media. Even now, like I even have my notifications off on social media. When I go on, I go on. Like if somebody writes me, I won't see it unless I open the app
Right.
because it can just be like very heavy. And if you're not in a space where you like talk to at least one person
Right.
and you're just on social media all day consuming that,
Mm-hmm.
that will add on to what you're already feeling. And
And
then you're just like, why? Why
right.
even stay here? Why even live? Like I literally used to say to myself, like, I really wish my parents did not give birth to me.
Wow.
Like I really wish they never met and never gave birth to me because I don't want to be here. Like
Wow.
I did not want to be alive.
Right. And
So
it's
just imagine
crazy
consuming other stuff on top of that.
on top of that, right? And then like me, when I look back on my memories from back then, even in that time, like Facebook, social media, because Facebook were MySpace and
Yeah.
Facebook were the thing back then. When I look
Mhm.
back on my memories from 2009 until now, I'm like, why did I put all my business out there? because I'm crying out for attention. If
Mhm.
I can be
Mhm.
completely honest. So now we
Yeah.
start turning to what we feel like we can get attention from. You understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because now you see people responding to when
Yep.
people post the negative stuff and the positive
Mhm.
stuff. So
Mhm.
now I want attention and I'm crying out. So now when you're mad, I'm doing subliminal messages because I'm upset with one
Mhm.
person. And instead of being honest with myself and that person, I'm lashing out on social media as an
Yep.
outlet. You know what I mean? So, but we're gonna go to the spiritual aspect of it because you recently told me about, you know, your walk with Christ is being strengthened. That played a major role in my life.
Yeah.
That doesn't make me perfect, but what
Mhm.
it does, it shifts my focus, it shifts my response, it shifts my
Absolutely.
reaction. You understand what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
now my affirmations are good, married. Good morning, gorgeous. Good morning, beautiful. I am the righteousness of God. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth
Mhm.
me. Now my affirmations are the word. When I feel bad, Jesus was wounded for my transgressions. I go there with my
Yeah.
affirmations and I start my day like that. I start my day praying before I do anything else.
Yes.
It's just a part of
Yes.
me. If I don't feel right,
Yep.
and it's not like a whole crying out. Sometimes I get on my knees, sometimes I'm walking, most of the times I'm in the bathroom, but I have to have that time with God. I have to
Definitely.
have that God time before I do anything else in the day, because that helps me. That helps me, stay positive. Even when I
Mhm.
want to spaz out, it's like I can reach back into that word. I listen to the Bible every morning. Now
Yep.
I'm listening and moving around, but I'm listening because what you feed yourself is like what you said. What you feed yourself is how you're gonna regurgitate it or how you're gonna
Yeah.
give it out. So if you're constantly feeding yourself negativity, that's what you're gonna give out. If you're constantly around negative people, then
Yep.
the balance is gonna be off, the scale is gonna be off. Either they're gonna influence you to go to the negative
Yep.
side, or you're gonna
Mhm.
influence them to go to the positive side. But it's all a balance of, it's like, what do you feed your spirit and what do you feed your flesh? If you're never getting that time with God, if you're never getting that one-on-one time with God, but you're feeding yourself more social media than you are,
Mhm.
spiritual stuff, then that social media is gonna, take precedence over that God side. You understand what I'm saying?
You're
So
allowing more playground room for the enemy too.
exactly. Let's talk about it, because now you're giving him that space.
Yeah.
You're giving him
Yep.
that, ability. And social media is good and bad. Social media
Yeah.
can be a
Yeah.
great asset. At the same time, it's so much negative stuff, like you said. It's so much negativity, it's so much shade being thrown, it's so much
Mhm.
depression out there, it's so much, you know it's just so much out there. So
So
like,
much.
my whole point in doing this is I want to change the narrative. I want to offer something for people, to have solutions, to have answers, to give them not just hope, but to give them God, but to give them, joy, to speak that affirmation, to speak that peace, to speak that into their lives. Because you're an example that, yes, I had suicidal thoughts at 16. You're 29 now, right?
Yeah.
And look at you. Look at what God is doing in your life.
Literally happy from the inside out. Like
See?
literally. And there was such a point in my life where I was not happy on the inside or the outside.
Wow.
Like literally.
But you smiled and laughed and joked like everything was okay.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
wow. How has your recent experience with ministry changed you?
Yes. So my friend Erica, I showed her. I don't know if she's on, but if you're on, hey girl. So yes, she invited me to church one day, the Believers Fellowship there in Yonkers, and I was like, okay, cool. This was a couple of months ago. I was still pregnant with River, and it was a Friday night service. So I'm like, okay, cool. I didn't want to go because I had the kids, but I'm like, I'm gonna just bring them. They need God too.
You're right.
So, well, Ocean because I was pregnant. Ocean. So I went and I was so moved. Like literally just from walking in the door, I felt so welcomed. And I just had a great time. The presence of God was felt. And I was already kind of looking for a new church. So I was like, all right, let me give it a try. But like literally, God spoke to me that whole service. So I was like, oh, I will be back.
Right.
So now I've been consistently going. And every time I go, I feel elevated and closer to God. Like literally every single week I go. And he's speaking to me. Like he's telling me, like, listen, you want to do a lot, but I got to be in the center of your life.
Come on.
I have to be in the center of your life
Come on.
because you're going to go so high and so many people are going to try to bring you down, 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 down to the dirt. But you're going to be so strengthened and you're going to be so close with me that they're not even going to be able to touch you.
Wow.
So get close with me. Let's get this relationship stronger than ever. And let me shoot you to where you need to be. And let
Come
me
on.
send you to inspire these women. Let me send you to encourage these women. Let me send you to speak life into these women because I'm preparing you to change lives.
Wow.
So I'm so excited. I'm like so excited. And I feel like everything happens for a reason because I am launching a new collection. Like I said, I'm a designer. I am launching a new collection, but it's on pause right now because I'm trying to find a manufacturer. I'm in a process of, changing from me making everything to now having my designs into production.
Let's go.
And then I also, just had a baby, so I'm not trying to like overdo it or anything like that. I'm gonna let
Right.
God move. But I feel like I needed to like strengthen this relationship with him, get back in church. I feel like all of this is a part of the journey. So when
Right.
I launch this new collection, it's not going to be just a new collection. It's going to be a whole like revamp for my brand, a revamp for me because it's going to be more than selling out. Like I'm going to be speaking at arenas and I'm going to be inspiring women and changing their lives. And I see it. I see it. I feel it. But I feel like he is definitely saying, I have to be in the center of your
The
life
center of your
before
life.
you do any of that.
Right.
So,
And that's most important because if he's
yeah.
the center, that means like everything around us, even when
Mm-hmm.
trials and tribulations
Yep.
and, maybe fear
Yep.
try to creep in, or even maybe the
Mm-hmm.
enemy might try to attack you, even after you talk about this. Because let's be real, after we give our testimony, we're overcome. The Bible
Mm-hmm.
says that we are overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. After we give our testimony, we're more free than we were before. At the same time, the enemy
Mm-hmm.
tries to attack what we just released.
Yeah.
So we have to keep
Yeah,
God
even
in the
like I was
center.
telling you,
Yeah,
he's seen that I'm becoming stronger, so
yeah,
now he's trying to attack my kids,
right.
my family.
Yeah,
Like
because you was like,
every
Ocean's been
Friday, it's
sick.
something.
Yeah,
He's like, oh, you consistent? You going every Friday? Oh no,
right.
Ocean, let me give you a fever. No, Ocean, you're good. Let's go to sleep. Let's get this fever. We're gonna break this fever. We getting up. We going to Friday service tomorrow. Like, no. But
Right,
now I'm stronger and I see his plan. Before
right.
I was just like, oh no, my baby's sick. I need to make sure he's okay. No, no,
I
we
see
not
what you're
doing
doing.
that.
Right.
Yeah, I see what you're doing, and
I
you're
see
trying to
what you're
hit
doing.
me where I'm most vulnerable with my kids.
Right,
We're not doing that. We're
right.
not doing that. And that's why
So,
I bring them too. Ocean is wild. Ocean is wild. But they make me comfortable. They're like, don't be embarrassed. We got him. They give him coloring books and things to, keep him busy.
right,
And I'm like, he needs to go too. He needs to get comfortable because this is our life now. So
right. So
yeah,
we want
and
to
like you
encourage
said, even
people.
sorry to
No,
interrupt you.
we want to encourage people that the attacks may come, but you have to
Mm-hmm.
know that greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. And you have to be consistent. You have to press through. You don't let the distractions, don't let the things that he throws to you to throw you off course stop you. Don't
Yeah,
do it. Like we always have to stop on a trip from here to Mount Vernon. It's 500 and something miles. I got to stop and use the bathroom along the way. There may be an accident along the way that may
mm-hmm.
delay the journey, but that's not going to stop the journey. So I
Yep.
want to encourage somebody out there that it may be some roadblocks somewhere. There may be some pit stops that you have to make, but you have to keep going. Do not
Yeah.
stop. Don't let the pit stops, don't let the roadblocks stop you. You might have to take a detour. to get back on track. But keep pushing. Don't be ignorant of the enemy's devices, because his whole goal is to try to throw you off. Like you said, Brittany, every Friday now I'm going to church every week. I made up my mind I'm going to church, and now every week my kid's sick. Come on now.
So
Come on.
predictable.
So
And
predictable.
also too, like, just encourage somebody, that next step could be it, and you gave up.
Come on, Brittany.
It could literally be that next step. Just the next step. God he listen. Don't get me started, okay? Because he just showed up so much in my life. That next step, literally, one step could be it. Could be your joy, that peace that you're looking for, those sleepless nights that you've been praying for him to end. That next step could be it. But just don't give up. Don't give up. Even if it's you fighting yourself to get out of bed and just get through that day, that night, that might be it.
Right.
So I just want to encourage you, anybody who's listening, don't give up. That's like so important. I know it's so cliche, but it's so true. Because if I gave up, I wouldn't be here talking to
Right.
you guys.
Right. Encouraging you and being able to tell you this next part that I was going to ask you. Tell us about your brand. Tell us
Yeah.
about Dope Sophist. Did I say it right? Dope
Yes.
Dope Sophist. Tell us about Dope Sophist.
Yes. So Dope Sophist is the name of my brand, which is a woman's wear clothing brand. So it's like saying the word dope and sophisticated together. Dope Sophist, which is my aesthetic. I'm very, chill, very classy, unique, eclectic, and just dope. Like dope inside out. I ooze it. So
Hey.
that is what my brand was founded on. Self love, being true to you. Individuality is very important to me. And like I said, beauty has no size. The beauty standards of today is just like, oh, you have to look like this, you have to look like that. No. However, God made you is how He made you, and He made you that way for a reason. And you're unique. I have almond shaped eyes for a reason. I have a gap for a reason. I never used to like my gap. But then I learned to love it. I'm like, listen, this is what God gave me. I have to live with it. And now I can't stop smiling. I'm always smiling.
Right.
But yeah, so Dope Sophist, I make clothing for, this is one of my pieces actually on Dream Doll. We were on the cover of Hype Hair magazine. But as you can see, it's not for your everyday woman walking down the street. It's
Right.
definitely for that bold, eclectic woman who, when she walks in a room, she knows all eyes are on her. She
Right.
wants all eyes on her. She's powerful. She's confident. She's bold. She's an artist. She could be the working mom. She
Mm-hmm.
is just that chill, classy lady who likes to look good. She minds her business. She is just popping. She's that girl.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but yes, so you can follow me on Instagram at Dopesophist, or you can check out my website, which is dopesophist.com, DOPESOPHIS.com. We are in the current mode. Like I said, I'm looking for a manufacturer. If anybody knows anything about that, hit your girl up. In the process of looking for a manufacturer so I can launch my new collection for next year. I got some good things coming for you guys. Um, I'll give you a little sneak. The new name of my collection is Go Get Her, which
Let's go.
is go after the woman that you aspire to be. Even if there was roadblocks, even if there were delays, go get her because she's waiting for you. So, yeah.
That is amazing. See, that's my baby. My baby. Wow, Brittany. I did this intentionally and I sent it to you. I don't know if you understood why. I wanted you to tell us how you dealt with the depression from
hmm
16 to now, but I wanted to see the shift in your life from depression and suicidal thoughts to a mother of two beautiful kids, a businesswoman, entrepreneur. You said entrepreneur mom. Is that how you said it?
Momtrepreneur.
Momtrepreneur,
Momtrepreneur.
and you're doing great things in life. God is taking you to places. You're in going to church now. You're getting more rooted in God, and you're beautiful inside and out. I hope you always know that. Always remember that you're beautiful inside and out. You have a personality that the people on here really, I mean, they're seeing it, but they're not seeing. They're not seeing it. That beautiful glow that you have. Listen, y'all know for real. We would get in trouble. I was grown, but just messing with Brittany, just laughing at everything, making jokes, making jokes out of everything because that's just how we are. That's part of
Mm-hmm.
who we are. We're clowns. So, but I wanted to bring it back around to show how you went from where you were to where you are now, and it's all because you took that next step. It's
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
because you are a go getter. You are a go get
Yes.
her type of woman. You didn't let that depression, you didn't let that suicide, you didn't let that stop you. So I wanted to like show the people how you went from here to there. It's not just a sad story. It's a
Yeah.
testimony of how great God is and how he is in our lives and how blessed we are indeed and how what we go through, like you said, you're here to inspire women. You're going to be touching a lot of lives, but God is just showing us that even though you went through that season of life, I have something greater for you on the other side, but you have to
Mm-hmm.
keep going. And I talked about it on my
Yes.
last podcast that a lot of times we go through experiences and you get that good word, that inspiration, that prophecy, or whatever it is. But a lot of times people don't tell you that you're going to have a valley experience, or people don't tell you that you got to climb some mountains. It's not going to
Mm-hmm.
be easy going from peak to peak. It's not like a jump like it is on a picture. It's like, okay, you got to go down and come back up sometimes. But the key is that you keep going. You stay focused on the assignment. You stay trusting in God. Keep him as the center of your life. And I'm not saying like a churchy thing. I'm saying a relationship thing. Like
Yeah.
build that relationship with God. Know that you're not perfect. Know that he loves you just the way you are. Know that you are beautiful. You are handsome. You are great. You are wonderful. You are, whatever needs to fill in that blank that you are
Mm-hmm.
and start replacing all the negative talk with that positive talk. Start replacing um that flesh talk with the word talk. Get that one
Mm-hmm.
scripture. If it's only the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Just know that God is your shepherd, that he's watching over you and that he's taking care of you. Get that in your heart and hold on to it. If it's only that one thing, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. If you got to hold on to that, you know that you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
okay.
And
You
can I
know that
add
you
something too?
You sure? Go ahead.
Two things. Two things.
Go ahead.
So as I said, I used to put on a facade. She lived with me. She had no clue what was going
R-
on.
right.
I encourage you not to do that.
Wow.
If somebody asks you, "Hey, how are you?" Be honest. I'm not having the best day. I don't feel the greatest.
Right.
I don't feel my best, but God is gonna God is gonna work on me. God got me.
Right.
God got me. Like
R-
literally, like when people ask me, "You okay? You're not yourself." Today, somebody asked me that at work. I was fine. I'm just very tired. I have a 4 month old, but I was like, no, I'm very tired, but I'm good. I'm fine.
right.
God got me. And she was like, all right now, like just be honest with yourself and be honest with the people around you because you might feel like nobody understands or nobody's there for you, but you do have people that care for you.
right.
You do have a village. You might have a secret village. That girl that wrote me on Facebook, we're still cool to this day. You might have people out there who are watching you and who are inspired by you, and you don't even know it.
Right. Right.
So I just encourage you, take off the facade. Be real with yourself. Be honest with yourself. Not saying go out and be an open book, but if somebody asks you like, are you okay? No, I'm not. If you're not in a space to talk about it, don't talk about it. If you are in a space to talk about it, talk about it if you're willing to listen. But most importantly, talk to God about it because that's what creates the anxiety. We live in our thoughts and it keeps going and it keeps going and it keeps going and you go crazy. Like literally, if you got to go in the bathroom at work and just get it all out, God is listening.
Right.
He might not show you in that moment, he might not show you in that day, But he's
Right.
gonna show you, oh, I heard you. Like, look at this. She was calling me to be silly because the Anita Baker song,
Right. Right.
Caught Up in the Rapture of Love. I love that song.
Right.
And she literally was calling me
Um,
to be silly. And look at what happened from that. You know,
right.
like God is always listening. God is always listening.
Right.
That's one thing I wanted to point out. And then those of you who are moms, we have to be an example for our children because they are growing up in a tough, tough world.
Yes.
Tough world. Our
Right.
black kings are being killed left and right. You know, men, I'm sure they feel like, no, I can't be open book. I gotta say, nah, I'm good. You know, they gotta have on this tough exterior. They feel like they can't cry it out.
Right.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Right.
Have that person that you can lean on. And if that person is not physical, just know you have God
Right.
because you can lean on Him at any point in your life. And
Right.
um, somebody said something Friday. Sorry, guys.
You good?
His name is Damar. He said, you know, sometimes we feel like we're too dirty, like to go to God. Like, if you are outside all day and you dirty, you in the mud, do you feel too dirty to go take a shower? No.
Right. Right.
You go and cleanse yourself and you take a shower. So if you go to God, He's going to cleanse you. He's going to give you that clean slate. He's
Right.
going to wipe your past right away. Like nothing, none of that means anything to Him. Like He accepts you for who you are. I've done so many things in my past that I should have been ashamed of, but I'm
Right.
like, listen, God, that was that girl back then. I'm changed now. Like, come on, come on.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
He's gonna give you a clean slate. But
Right.
just don't be too wrapped up in yourself to say, oh no, God's not gonna forgive me. I did this, I did that.
Right.
He is. He is.
Right.
So I just want to encourage anybody who feels like that and who's in that negative space. You know, a lot of it is mental. A lot of it is what we tell ourselves. We are our worst critic.
Right.
Again, social media, what we see. Maybe you should unfollow certain pages and certain people, do a cleanse,
Mhm.
fast, you know,
Mhm.
whatever you need to do. But as I was saying, that if you're a mom, it's very important, you know, because you have those babies looking up to you. Even if they're not babies, they're going to be your babies forever.
Right.
But
Right.
they're looking up to you, they're watching you. Ocean is 3 years old, and he be checking me. We in traffic, and somebody's, you know, doing something. Oh, come on, mommy, don't say that.
Right.
3 years old, checking me.
Right.
So they watching and they listening to everything,
Right.
you know. So yeah, I just wanted to share
Absolutely.
that.
That hey, that's what this is all about. We encouraging, we're helping, and hey, we're gonna be okay. If you're
Yeah.
not having a good day right now, you're gonna have a better night. You know, your tomorrow
Mhm.
is gonna be better. And I know it's not like magic or anything, but God is able to do anything. Like and our sins are covered. That's why he sent his son Jesus Christ for our sins. So that way, you know, we can live and we can be great and we can do greater things in his name. So we just want to encourage people, like she said, everything that she said. I'm not gonna everything that she said. You know, keep that in mind. Know that God loves you. Know that you can do great things, and stay positive. Stay connected. I always talk about Gail because she's my person. I mean, it just is what it is. She's my, like, when I'm having a bad moment, she's that person. I'm like, I know I get on your nerves, and she always says, "No, you're fine." No matter,
Yeah.
no, seriously, no matter what. It's 12 o'clock at night. Gail, well, I just thought about this, and I'm sorry to bother you, but we need people around us like that too, that you can
Mhm.
have an outlet, you can have a positive godly outlet that can listen to you, let you vent, and then be like, okay, now let's put this in perspective, or
Mhm.
let's,
Yeah.
think about the God way, or think about, or encourage you along the way. So
Mhm.
you need, we need people in the earth realm that can help us do that.
Yeah.
And then, like, these platforms are here to help. Social media is not all bad. That's why he gave this to us, to be able to make the best out of it. And I'm so
Yeah.
grateful for this opportunity. Do you guys have any questions for London before we sign off? Do y'all have any questions for her? Anything you want to say? Any comments or anything that you want to say to her? Um, Anything. The floor is open for you guys, both on Facebook and on YouTube. I can see your comments. So Anybody. The fam-
Anybody, everybody.
the family's on, Destiny's on, Cece's on,
Hey
mommy's on,
guys.
your grandma's on. I think your dad's on. I think I seen him. My big brother.
Hey y'all.
Y'all got anything? If not, I told you I was going to shout out small businesses on every podcast. I'll try to remember to keep doing that. I want to shout out Dope Sophis. Check her out on Instagram. It's DOPESOPHIS. I got that right, right?
Yes.
Okay. So it's DOPE capital SOPHIS. Check her out on
Yes.
Instagram. She's very approachable. She'll talk to you. If you need her to design something for you, she got you. That's the girl for it. So hit her up. Thank you, Treese. I love you. That's it. Anybody else got anything? I also want to shout out Butters by Keisha. She's local here in Martinsville. She does body butter, scrubs, oils, perfumes. Listen. The girl got the oil, and I'm just like, her stuff. She has awesome products, and I know we like Bath and Body, we like Ulta, we like all of that stuff. We have somebody local, a small black business that can give us
Yeah.
that.
Support
You
your
know,
local business
yeah. So
owners so we
support
can grow.
support Butters by Keisha, support Dope Soap